Entertainment Tonight, weeknights at 7 on Local 3.
Well, we can mark off of our list. We've seen it all now on 3+U. Tish Gailmard's here. Do you see what she's brought? These are little toads.
They're American toads. These are one of my favorite animals. I love them.
I mean, I'm kind of impressed with your confidence. That's what I'm going to talk about, because here we are in this big studio, and Tish has these two little tiny toads, and you're convinced that they're not going to jump all around.
I'm hoping they're not, and I'm trying not to handle them very much because they absorb a lot of things through their skin, and so handling them is not always a good idea, but I just don't want them to jump on the floor, but I want people to be able to see them really well.
When I was an intern in television, my first time in Atlanta, there was a late night talk show in Atlanta, and I worked the green room, and it was like this local David Letterman kind of thing, and they'd had these bullfrogs, and they did a jumping contest, and I had to be the handler I learned what a girl I was, because they are slimy.
Yes.
And I would go to pick them up when they would get off the path, and I screamed. But these little guys, I bet, are not slimy.
They're not slimy at all. No, toads have very bumpy skin, and they stay in water to stay hydrated, but they are land dwellers. They, after they go through the tadpole phase, they have lungs. So they're actually living on the land, but then they rely on the water also.
Okay, so I garden a lot, and I know we've had a ton of rain in the month of May, and maybe that's why, but this year when I've been out pulling weeds, I have run across more toads.
Isn't that exciting?
I think that's what these are.
So American
Mine
toad,
look a bit more gray.
Okay, so it's probably a Fowler's toad or a Cope's gray. There's two other toads in the area, and the Cope's gray are kind of grayish, and they're more bumpy almost.
Yeah.
All of them are just so valuable to our environment because they're huge insectivores. So when you have a garden, these guys are great to have around. They're also bioindicators. If you have a lot of toads, you probably got a really healthy habitat. So good for you.
Well, I try. I'm one of those people. I don't like to spray a lot of stuff. I will on a walkway where there's nothing living, but I don't want to put it in my garden.
No, insecticides are so bad for our environment and bad for these animals. And stop and think, you know, if you've got some kind of a prey issue, you need to look at this. They're stacked up on top of each other. You got to think about, okay, if I've got a prey animal that I don't want in my yard, it's some sort of pest. How would nature solve the problem? Nature's not going to use an insecticide. They're going to attract the predator for whatever that prey is. And so I actually built a toad hotel and have it in my garden.
What is a toad hotel?
So it can be all kinds of different things, but mine's really simple. It's just a bucket of water with some rocks in it. And then I took PVC pipe and put it down in there, and then put a 45 or a 90 on the top of the PVC. And then the toads and the frogs will climb down in that pipe for shelter.
Oh.
And then they'll soak in the water, and they'll hang out in your garden and eat all the insects.
Tish, I don't want that toad jumping my way. He was looking at me. So which one's the girl and which one's the boy?
The female's larger, the male's smaller.
And you were able to make him sing.
So if you get a toad and you
look at him.
Give him a little bitty squeeze, and he trills. The males trill, the females don't. Isn't that awesome?
Now, do they have a long lifespan?
You know, that's interesting. We have had them at the Nature Center for a while, and these particular ones not, but I did have a female that lived about 4 years.
Wow.
And that's pretty long. Of course, in the wild, they're going to live less because they've got predators and they've got to find food and shelter and all that. They are super active this morning.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't want to jinx us here, but they're really not jumping.
They're just kind of walking.
Mine, the whatever you tell me I have, my little gray ones.
Cope's gray.
Cope's gray. Okay, so like I've got some coral bells. I found them underneath there. They tend to be in the shade.
Yeah, they do. They get under the shade.
And I'll go pull a weed, and then I'll just hear this little rustling.
I love it.
But they kind of hop a little bit, but they're not completely skittish.
No.
They tend to freeze, actually.
They're also mostly nocturnal. So
really?
Listen for them at night. These animals have a beautiful call that they have at night. For me, it's just a classic southern nighttime noise. That's another reason I love these animals so much, because their call is so cool.
Are they ever confused for a bullfrog sound, or are they
no,
loud
it's
like
different.
That?
Bullfrog's very different sound. Yeah, get on YouTube, start listening to calls, listening to frog calls.
Yeah.
There's spring peepers and all kinds of other frogs.
They're not the only ones trying to stay cool. We all are.
Yes.
So
oh
you
my
said
gosh.
you've got some kind kind of a deal going on?
So, you know, it is hot. God, it's hot. And if you have a membership at Reflection Riding, you get free canoeing. And we have all the equipment you need. We have an amazing dock on Lookout Creek. We have all the canoes, all the PFDs, all the paddles. All you got to do is show up and get that canoe in the water and go.
If you're a newbie and you're going for the first time, is it okay?
It is a great place for newbies. It's a very flat creek, no rapids. It's wide. It's a great spot to begin to learn. And then for people who are more advanced, it's just a great place to paddle.
So, okay, I'm trying to think back to my college days, and I dated a guy. We would go canoeing and would put in at one spot and have the Jeep at the other spot, and then we had to haul that canoe out of the water. Similar thing?
Yeah, I mean, no, you have to, if you're with our canoes, you've got 2 hours. And so we tell everybody you can go toward the river or you can go the other way, but then you got to paddle back.
Okay.
So you're putting in and getting out at the same location.
That's a workout.
Yeah, it is a great workout. Yeah, get your arms going.
You have big plans for the 4th of July?
Doing some family stuff with the grandbabies.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Tish has got a family full now. Do you, any words of warning for people when they're outside shooting off fireworks in their own neighborhoods or anything? Just be mindful.
Don't do it. You know, not only does it scare our domestic pets, but it is horrible for wildlife. We have seen, I have a friend who is a raptor rehabber, and she's gotten raptors in that have been burned by fireworks before. It's terrible. So just, I know it's fun, but if you can not do it, it'd be so much better for the environment and our animals.
Okay, I have to wrap it up. Make him chirp one more time.
Oh, all right, let's see if we can get this male to trill.
Good boy.
Get your best body and boost your confidence in just one visit to Sono Bello, America's #1 cosmetic surgery specialist.
This summer, I'm excited to not be covered up.
I've got abs again. Sonobello put me in the right spot to just feel good again.
I feel beautiful. I went from this to this in just one visit.
I feel confident.
Take me to your summer days.
Micro laser technology permanently removes stubborn fat, tightens and tones skin in just one visit with less downtime.
My shirts